trying to get this in my soul, y'all. I'm having a moment, and the words. What's up, y'all? It's your girl Ray. Welcome back to my channel, Transformation Academy. Oh man, today's day 5 of my 31-day challenge of becoming the truest version of yourself. And y'all, if I didn't do this video this morning, because I was trying to do it so many times this morning, but my head was just flustered with so many thoughts, and then I had so many distractions, so I wasn't able to really do the video the way I wanted to. But on my way home, I was listening to this song that I just played for you guys, and the reason, I'm gonna give you guys a little background on why I am like emotional. I am moving to Houston, Texas from Philadelphia August 1st, and I have been crying. I have been crying all week since it turned July. I think Monday was July 1st, and I've been crying before that, but this week has really been emotional for me, because it's like I have less than, when it turned July 1st, like reality of August 1st will be here next month. Like I have no more months. I've been planning this move since, I've been at it since February, as far as like finding employment, interviews, finding housing. God really walked me through this. And today's message, I just want to share with you guys like where I'm at, what it's like actually in real time for me being in transition, what it's like actually walking by faith, because I am not walking by sight. I am not walking by sight. Hence why that song is just so encouraging to me. That song that was just playing, and the words that she was saying, I was like, yes, God, this is where I'm at. This is where your child is. This is where your daughter is at. Hear my heart. Give me courage to be like you. Give me the courage to live for you, to honor you, to be the living sacrifice that you call me to be, because it takes courage. It takes courage. For those of you who don't know me personally, I'm born and raised in Philadelphia. Lived here for 34 years. I have done a little bit of travel work as far as like travel therapy. I'm an occupational therapist by trade, but by gifting, I am a teacher. I specialize in teaching other people how to transform. Like God has gifted me with the gift of speaking and teaching, and so I've done a little bit of travel therapy work, and where I lived in New Orleans for like 5 months, then I lived in California for a few months. So all of that was, you know, a little bit of travel therapy work where I lived there for a temporary time. Like every time I went there, I would go really quickly, because for travel therapy, you gotta get there really quick within like 2 weeks to a month. And then you're only there for a contract. So you're there for 13 weeks or more, depending on your contract, if they want to renew or not, extend or not, or cut short or not. So I do have a little bit of experience of living in other states. It's pre-pandemic, and pre-pandemic I was doing travel therapy, and I stopped right in the middle of pandemic, 2020, March of 2020. And then, so I've been born and raised, I've been in Philly all my life, and the Spirit was telling me last year, like the end of last year, maybe October, November, I kept hearing in my spirit, move. Like, move. God would just say, move. And I'm just being real as a spiritual person, and somebody who has been walking with God for a little bit. Just move isn't enough to say, okay, I know what he's talking about. It was a move as if, all right, let me seek you a little more to see what you're talking about. Let me seek you a little more to see if you're talking about what I'm talking about, because I can mistake your move for move out of the country, move out of the state, move out of my mom's house, move somewhere, just move out of, like, move how? Like, I needed some type of clarity. And I was seeking and trying to find out, like, okay, what you mean move? You want me to, like, move spiritually? Like, do I need to fast more? Do I need to pray differently? Do I need to, like, how do you want me to move? And I got baptized. I got rebaptized December 31st, going into this new year of 2024. And early February, I remember I was sitting upstairs in my room, and like I was journaling, and I was like, I remember being like in chaos in my mind. Like, there was a lot of chaos going on around me. And I remember the Spirit saying, I told you to move. And it just hit me. I was like, okay, I'm moving. Like, I'm moving. And I'm going to seek him along the way as I move. Because when he first said it, like I said, I was seeking him for clarity before I moved. Like, and I had in my, get this, I had in my mind a plan of when this is it. Before, like, the plans I had in my mind before I move out of, from where I'm at, I want X, Y, and Z to be checked off of my list. So I didn't really have it in my mind that I was moving anytime soon. I really, really didn't. And when he said that, it was like, move. And I was like, okay, I'm moving. And it might have been a week later, right? I put it in my heart that I'm moving. I did not really know where, but I was like, okay, God, I'm going to move, but where? Like, where? And at the time, I was still thinking it somewhere in Philadelphia. And I watched a sermon online of a church that I've been following for like 2 years. Jerry Flowers, Redefined Ministries at Time of Celebration Ministries. And he casted a vision, like, randomly. He rarely does that, but he casted a vision of how he sees the ministry growing, and how he sees, like, the vision that God has given him for the ministry. And when he casted the vision, I seen it. Like, I seen it, and I seen me in it. And in my heart was like, I need to be a part of this. I see myself being a part of this. And that's why it's so important sometimes to cast visions. Because people who have the gift of sight, and sometimes it just ignites somebody else's vision to cast your vision. Especially for those who are supposed to be a part of the vision. So, sorry, something was getting delivered. So he casted the vision, and I seen myself being a part of it. And I said, if I was to move anywhere, I would want to move to Houston, Texas, to be a part of this ministry. Y'all, I'm telling y'all the story. And this is the story. And you know, I've done things before God, ahead of God, right? I've got ahead of God in certain ways, and I learned the lesson in that. I learned not to move ahead of God. And and I learned how not to, right? So I really was being diligent not to do that with this, and not to make sure that this wasn't my plan, right? So, you know, I prayed about it, and I started moving. I prayed about it, but I didn't like halt. I didn't stop. I prayed about it, and I wrote my resume probably that night. I updated my resume and uploaded it to Indeed. And this is just a little side note, y'all. Indeed is that work. Indeed has got me the job I have now with the hospital that I'm at now, and by the grace of God, like, you know, and lo and behold, the next day, the job I put in for on Indeed, the HR called me, and she set up an interview. She did like a phone screening. Then she set up an interview for the following week. So this is all it's still in February. And then I'm like, dang, this is moving kind of fast. But I still had the mindset of like, we'll see. And if like, I'm still submitting and giving everything back to God, letting him confirm, not me overthinking in my head and me fantasizing and falling in love with the illusions, the projections that I'm having in my mind. I'm still like, okay, this is a possibility, God, but I'm not falling in love with it before you, like, I'm not falling in love with it. And that's what I mean by the lessons that I learned with getting ahead of God. Is like, don't move towards it. You want to move towards it, but don't fall in love with it, Laree, don't fall in love with it before God even confirms it. Because sometimes when I fall in love with the plans that, you know, that I may have that God hasn't confirmed yet, is I still want to hold on to it. I still want to hold on to it and marry it and thinking that this is it. And then when God is like, let it go, let it go, let it go, I'm like, no, I married this, I did. And it's hard to detach from. So that's one of the things that I really learned about, and take that as a learned lesson. If you're that way, that where you kind of get ahead of God, that's one of the ways that has helped me, is like, okay, we can do this. This is a possible plan, but don't fall in love with it. Don't sit there and romanticize it. Don't sit there and fantasize it. Don't sit there and, you know, ask God to give you a vision and what have you, and make plans towards it, but be okay if they do not work out, because God's plan ultimately will prevail. Many are the plans in man's heart, but God's plans, his purpose prevails. And that scripture has set me free. Proverbs, don't quote me, y'all. I can't remember. I know it's in Proverbs. So that's really what I've been doing. So once I had the interview, that same day, like, I hung up, I had a virtual interview. Literally, I hung up the virtual interview, the Zoom. I went upstairs. I was telling my mom how the interview went. I looked at my phone, and the lady was asking me to call her. I called her, and she wanted to set up an in-person interview. And this was back in February, y'all. And the Spirit was telling me, he said, you can only you can only go visit in April. Like, in April. And this was February. And the lady, and I was telling her, I said, okay. And I was like, well, you know, I have 2 jobs here, and the only time I have available to come out there is in April. I teach also, so my students this would be perfect also, because my students would be on spring break, or they had like a conference to go to, a professional conference to go to. So this will give me the opportunity to come out there. But so the lady, you know, she was like, I don't know if I can hold the position for you, and that's a longer time. We were hoping of something sooner. And I stuck to what God told me. I told her, I said, listen, I understand. That's the only time I have available. I have responsibilities here, and I can't, you know, pick up and just leave. And lo and behold, maybe a few days later, that next week, I told her, I said, let me see what I could do. And then the next day, I emailed her and I thanked her, and I told her, I said, the best I can do is the first week of April. And lo and behold, a few days later, she told me, she said, can you come out April 2nd? So they scheduled an interview for me on April 2nd. And I was still interviewing for other positions, but, you know, this one was kind of like, it just fit. Like, everything just fit. From the schedule they were offering me to the people that like the people that was interviewing, like to the HR, like to the hiring manager, it's the training manager, everything just seemed to like fall in line. Like, I didn't really have to like do much. And the fact that they were willing to wait for a second interview 6 weeks out, that shows a lot about it, right? So had the interview. I was out there from the 1st to the 5th. My birthday, that was actually my birthday week, because my birthday is April 4th. And by the grace of God, they offered me the position. And I didn't accept it until probably like the following week. You know, I reviewed it, negotiated, and just made sure it kind of fit into what I was looking to do. And lo and behold, I am going out there. God, you know, put it in my heart to kind of wait until, I wanted to wait until the summer. And I thought I would leave like mid-July, but it kind of, the way things panned out, August was the best fit. And I'm okay with that. But I say all of that to say is like, I'm in a state of transition. A good friend of mine, he told me, he was like, this was months ago. He was like, I wouldn't be surprised if things started closing for you here. Like, he always pours into me in the aspect of like, just spiritually, of like staying in faith, like that's why it's so important to have, you know, fellowship with people of the faith, because they'll just, when your faith is low, like they'll pour into you. And I was just having a moment, y'all. I was just having a moment, because today is July 5th and I am leaving in a few weeks. And, you know, I've been mourning everything that I knew. And everything has been, and he was exactly right, everything has been closing for me here. Like, my jobs told me, like, the hours that I normally work has significantly decreased, because census is low, because census is pretty much low for both of my jobs, even academics. Like, the students aren't coming for the program as much as they've been. So they're cutting some academic hours for that program that I work for. And it's just, my gym closed. I've been a member of that gym since 2018. They randomly closed, like no notice, no announcement, no nothing. They randomly closed. Just things that's here for me has closed. And I am really taking my time to grieve and mourn, you know, and that's what I feel like I'm in this transition. And also, I just feel like I have no stable place yet, because things are closed for me here. Like, this week, I turned in my letter of resignation. And I felt like, oh God, what did I do? Oh God, with everything that's closing, that I'm updating and closing, I feel like, oh God, what did I do? What did I do? Am I doing, like, every time? It's like, what did I do? But I'm learning how to just have courage and faith in God in this season. Like, I can't feel my feet. If I was in a pool, I would probably be in 50 feet right now, because I can't, my feet it's not touching the ground. And I'm just like floating. And I'm just like, all right, God, I know you're going to get me to the other side. I might be doggy paddling. I might be out there just chilling, floating on my back or whatever. And I'm just like, all right, God, I know you're going to get me to the other side. I know you called me out here. Because I waited and confirmation has came. Several confirmations has came, and they're still coming. And I'm still not 100% sure, but my faith in the level of confirmation that has already came, I'm leaning on that. I'm leaning on what I know about God, what he has done for me already in my life. And the confirmation that he has already given me. So there's a lot of leaning, a lot of trusting on God right now just to get me to the other side, because I feel like I'm nowhere just yet. I'm not here anymore. Like traces of me of being here is closing, but also I'm not quite there yet. You know, if that makes sense. And I just want to encourage whoever may be in a state of transition. If you're watching this video and it's not 2024 and it's 2034, and you happen to stumble upon this video, and you may be in a season of transition, and you may be resonating and feeling all of these things that I'm talking about in these videos, just be of courage. It's supposed to feel like this. It's supposed to feel, the unknown is supposed to feel like this. If we were so sure, we would not need him. If we were so sure, we would not need faith. Faith is not being sure. Like, faith is not being sure in what you see. It's leaning on what you know and who you trust and who you trust him to be. And that's what I'm doing. I'm trusting that if he called me out here, if he got me out here, he's going to show up. He's going to show up and speak these things over yourself. Speak these things out loud. And it's okay to cry. It's okay to be scared. Y'all, because I would be a fool or a liar. I would be lying. That's what I'm going to say. I would be lying if I told y'all I wasn't scared. I tell people every time I can, I'm scared. They're like, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. I'm so this. I'm so that. I'm like, thank you. I'm excited, but I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. But you know what? One thing I know about me, and say this to yourself too. One thing I know about me, I am going to do it afraid. I am going to do it afraid. And I know God is going to honor. God is going to honor my faith. He's going to honor me for trusting him. And however this plays out, he's going to cause it all to work for our good. He's going to cause it all to work for my good. So even though I feel all of these things and I see all of these things and he has me doing things and I'm just like, God, this is a lot. This is scaring me. This is building me though. This I know. Today proved it. Today showed it. Like I'm going to say this last thing and I'm going to let y'all go. I started a GoFundMe page because how things have quickly closed for me here, I didn't anticipate not having the financial resources as much as I thought I wouldn't. Like I'm in need of some financial blessings. So I started a GoFundMe page, and I'm going to just be real. Pride almost got in the way. And I'm just so thankful that it didn't. Because I know God is going to work it all out. He's going to work it all out. And I'm going to actually upload the GoFundMe here. So if y'all, find it in your heart to bless my move, my faith move, what's the transition that I'm in, thank you. If you can't, thank you. I would appreciate if you could just take a moment to read the story, get to know a little bit more about me, what's going on. And yeah, day 5 is complete. This challenge for day 5 is complete, because I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I didn't know if it was going to happen. I tried this video at least 10 times earlier, and it's just one of them things where I was like, I don't feel like it. I'm gonna talk more about that on another video, but I knew feelings of not always feeling like doing something after committing to it would come about, because that's usually how commitment works. It's sticking with something even after the feelings or the desires of wanting to do it has left. So I knew that I would be up against an obstacle as far as like feeling like doing something once I commit to something. But y'all, I love y'all. My mother is in the house waiting for me, and I got something for her. So I love y'all. Thank y'all for listening to my story. Please keep me in your prayers. Please, me and Lola, as we set out. We set sail August 1st. Plan to be there August 3rd. We're going to try to do a 3-day trip. We're driving, me and my father and Lola. So I pray I ask y'all to keep us in y'all prayers. And yeah, I keep y'all posted. All right. I love y'all, and I'll talk to y'all soon.